Aloha, welcome to the 16th episode of the 10th series of the Temple of Surf, the podcast. Today with us from California, surfer and surfboard shaper Graham Noble. We discuss with him about shipping surfboard, surfers, longboard, and much more. Hi Grant, welcome to the show. Where are you today?
Hey man, what's going on? I am in my garage in Costa Mesa, California.
Fantastic. So today we're going to talk about many things. Shipping surfboard is one of them, but surfing is, of course, like the major part of the interview or our conversation. But the first thing that I want to ask you is something that I ask everyone on the show. In your opinion, what is the most important thing in surfing?
Oh boy, you're hitting me with like all the money ones right when we start, huh? I think the most important thing in surfing is I'm gonna give you the same answer that everyone else gives you. It's like, oh, it's so fun. I don't know. But in my opinion, I think the most important part about surfing is getting that like disconnect from reality, and you're by yourself in the water, and it's like it puts you in a good like mental state, you know. You have fun is my main priority going surfing. It's just clear your mind, and then at the end of the day when you get out of the water, you'll always be a better person.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
It's crazy, yes, definitely. You know, it's like the power of water and the ocean and that connection. That is true. Like cleaning mind, it's a fantastic. Gives the idea of what's happening for all of us surfer. You know, it's just like we hopefully will leave all our problems in at the shore, and we don't line. I guess you're lucky over there in California that you have like surf every single day almost, right? So
that's what everyone thinks, but a lot of the time, like living in Southern California, the waves are, when they're good, they're really good. But the time in between, like it's just, I find myself riding, like people are like, oh, you're a longboarder. And you're like, in Southern California, we get like head high surf, like maybe like once every 3 months, you know? So just to stay in the water, I need to ride boards. So I'm just like, okay, like majority of the time I'll ride a longboard because you're like, oh, like,
okay.
it's flat out there today.
Thank you for sharing this secret. You know, now we know that you prefer shortboard.
I mean, it sucks when you're riding. I try to choose the board for whatever the waves are doing, you know? Like if it's big barrels, I'm never gonna paddle out on a longboard.
Of course.
Nor even look at my longboard. It's like, oh, I get to try out like all these like weird shapes and whatnot.
So what you're riding these days?
That's a pretty vague statement. Like, are you talking about like my everyday board?
Yeah, your everyday board.
I've been riding like a lot of like fishy kind of egg-shaped little like 5 foot between like fishes between 5'6" and 4'10", a bunch of little stuff.
Okay. Wow.
Other than a longboard. Like recently, obviously it's been a longboard summer, but if the waves are good, I've been riding like boards that want to go really fast and seeing how far I could push like the design of the fish.
Okay, fine, fantastic. So, how did this start the relationship between you and the ocean? What happened? It's like you were like, since you were like a kid, you were going to the ocean and I don't know, bodyboarding, or you just start surfing. How did it work?
I grew up in Costa Mesa, and it's up the hill from the beach, so it's probably like 15 minutes. And I was terrified of the ocean until like probably like 12 or 13 years old.
Oh wow, okay.
Like I don't know, my parents would bring me to the beach, and I just hated it. Like I was super into like BMX and skateboarding and like wheeled like action sports, you know?
Okay.
And then when I was like 12 or 13, like my friends wanted to go to the beach. So like since they wanted to go to the beach, I was like, okay, like I guess I'll go to the beach too and like hang out, you know, like just kind of being in the bandwagon. And then I got into like, okay, like we're bodyboarding, oh, we're going surfing, and then never took it seriously. In high school, I did like a surf team or surf class, like for our like physical education. And I rode a bodyboard, and that was like, I think I was like 14 or 15.
Okay.
And then right at like 15, 16, I started surfing, riding shortboards. And then I found like a draw between like weird boards in a sense, like eggs and single fins. And then like by 16, I was just full blown, like, all I want to do is surf, like, get me to the beach. Like, here in California, like, I just got my license at 16 and just traveled up and down the California coast, like, looking for waves to surf.
My God.
So I had an interesting, like, late start to the
But then,
surf world.
but then the progression has been amazing. How old are you right now?
I just turned 27.
Man, like in 10 years, progression is fantastic,
Yeah, I guess I was just pretty lucky to have a knack for it, you know?
Mhm.
But then I think the skateboarding helped from like a young age. So I skated before I surfed. So then I think it like translated to like just being on the board and the balance. And once that was in place, it was a lot easier to pick up.
Okay, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. But it's like if you look at the movie The Legend of, Lords of Dogtown, it's like all like skateboarder, like Jay Adams, Peralta, I don't know, Tony Alva, and then they transition into surf. So they start.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's kind of, if you look at that, it's a kind of gives an idea. And what was your first important surfboard? Like, how did it go? How did it happen? Like, it's been gifted to you. You got it somewhere. Like you bought it.
So like my first board or like one of the most important boards?
I guess the first proper surfboard, like not really the first one that you maybe end up like using trying for surfing, but like the one that you were really aspiring to have or to buy.
Yeah, so I think my first longboard that I ever had, it was an Eric Christensen that I bought like on a used board website, and then that kind of got me going to like riding longer boards in a sense. It was like a 9.2. I think the model was like a Pistolera or something.
Okay.
And then that eventually led to I would surf Blackies a bunch, and I would always look up to like Tanner Prairie and Alex Nost and Jared Mell. And Tanner Prairie was shaping board like incredible. He still is shaping like some of the best boards down at the beach today. But I would always look at his price tags. I was like, "There's no way I can afford one of those." And he just told me one day to like swing by the shop, and like he's like, "Dude, like let's get you on like something proper." And I was like, "Dude, I can't afford $1,000 for a longboard." And then I show up, and he like made me a custom board, and I just had to pay for the blank. And then, dude, that was like one of the most monumental things. Like one of the older guys from Blackies, Mike Rogers, him and his lady at the time, like they were so psyched on just surfing and like supporting the kids that were like up and coming. And they split the glass job cost, and then I paid for the blank, and then Tanner just shaped it for free. And that was like the kickstart to like that was a kickstart to my surfing career.
Wow. Fantastic story.
Yeah,
Like
cool.
you did along the way down. I mean, along the way, people that helps. It's very important, isn't it? So it's a spirit, is what they call the spirit of aloha, right? Is to give, stoke, and give to like people that eventually they are very good, like you, but they at that time could not afford their first longboard, isn't it? So
Oh yeah, it was a dream come true. Like it was everything. It was at the time it was like the craziest thing. It was like a dream come true as like a young like 16-year-old kid that had no money.
and do you still have that board with you or no?
I do. It's at my mom's house, just buried in the rafters, but I can't sell that. Like it's one of my most prized possessions.
Yeah, exactly. It represents, it's just beyond what a surfboard, right? It represents
with that board, actually, I sold it. I sold it to a friend, and then he sold it to another friend. And then being 16, you just need money to like, I sold that board to buy the next board, you know? But then I was like, that was like the biggest mistake I've ever done. Like, I need to get that board back. So I traded, I was like, I'll shape you a new board. And I was shaping at the time. And I shaped the kid a brand new longboard to get some old junk thrashed Tanner back. But it was my first board. So I was like,
Yeah,
I,
you have to add it. You have to add it.
it
Yeah,
was worth
you will not let it go twice.
no, never again.
Cool. And so, how did it work for you, the transition between surfing and shaping?
Being broke and not having money.
Okay. But then it's like who gave you the first job?
So before I had a job shaping, I don't know. I was just that kid that like my parents didn't we didn't have like we didn't come from the beach. Like we lived a little bit inland from like my family like was into racing motorcycles, you know?
Okay.
So the farthest thing from the ocean, you like they're driving inland to go to the desert while like at the time now I was like I wanted to go to the beach and they didn't really they were just like oh cool like whatever. But anyway, sorry, I'm just getting so sidetracked. But they didn't want to spend money on surfboards. They wanted to spend money on like dirt bikes and toys and whatever. But so I basically couldn't afford the boards that I wanted. And I thought the coolest thing ever was like a division between longboarding and shortboarding was the Mini Simmons. So I looked at that board and I was like, that's the most basic board you can shape. It's just a longboard that's been cut in half.
Okay.
I shaped one of those for my first board and just got in like I fell in love with like creating something that I don't know, something that you can ride, you know, like it was one of those moments where I was thinking, I just made this board. It's the worst board, but it has brought me the most joy because I made it.
Okay.
Then from there on, I was like, how do I make it better? Like, what can I do to like, I want to make a mid length, I want to make a fish. And then it just sparked this whole thing of me going down a rabbit hole of wanting to make surfboards.
Okay. So this was you have, I guess you didn't start to have like your own shipping bay by then, right? You were working for somebody or like
Oh, and then,
paper or how did it work?
so for the first like 2 or 3 years, I would just shape boards for myself. I would sneak in the back door at the factory.
Yeah. So you're saying like you were in the factory shipping for like not under your name, right?
Yeah, for the first 2 years, I didn't even have a logo. I was just shaving for myself. And then I think 2017, Russell Surfboards, like they saw that I was shaping. His name's JP. He saw that I was shaping boards, and he just asked me. He goes, "You want a job, or you shape boards? Like you want to come shape at Russell?" And I was like, kind of dumbfounded. I was like, "There's no way that I could shape for Russell. Like you guys have had like Bruce Jones, Velzy, Stussy, Mike O'Day. Like they've had like the most iconic shapers." And I was like, I don't belong there, you know? Like I'm just some kid that just makes boards for myself just because it's a hobby, you know? But then he kind of like took me under his wing and showed me like a couple tricks of the trade, gave me a place to shape, and then I think I was there perfecting or like just learning and it was the best paid internship that I could have ever had was I got to make my own boards for cost, you know. I got to learn how to glass. But then I was there for like 7 years and then as of recently I branched off and I left the nest and started my own brand.
Yeah, but I mean your boards are like super appreciated by the community, you know, and beyond that, right? So means that you're doing like a product that is very qualitative, isn't it?
I hope so.
Do you
I hope
do
you
you
like it.
have changed in before and today? Like if you branched off, like you say, means that people are asking for you, are asking for your board, and looking for your craft.
Yeah.
And how do you live this moment? It's like it's scary or is exciting.
Dude, I was terrified. Like, it's so easy to have like a place of work where you can just be like, okay, I can shape 10 boards today and get like paid this exact amount and then be done with work. I didn't have to worry about like my biggest my biggest worry was like people ordering boards because it's like when you're on your own, you got to handle everything. You got to handle the customers. You gotta be just ready for anything in a sense. You gotta be ready for slow times. You gotta be ready for boards to go off the yin yang.
Yeah,
But at Russell, if it was slow, I could just shape boards for the shop and just be totally fine. I didn't have to rely on orders coming in. He would pay me as soon as like I'd shape a board. But I'm glad I pulled it off going on my own. Just you got to jump off that ledge.
yeah, exactly. So today you have your own shipping bay, or still you use other people's shipping bay?
So as of now, I'm at Golden State Glassing, and they kind of have like a community shaping room that's shared between, I think, three. Yeah, they have a community shaping room that's shared between like 3 or 4 people. And then I just shape at nights, try to avoid the heat in the crowd. And eventually I'd like to get like my own shop and then have like a little like storefront and then just send them off to get glass. But just in the moment, like the transition period, it's like a little just too expensive.
Definitely, it's like that for everyone. We don't board with. I mean, some of us do with a huge bank account, right? So it's all about getting there, no?
Exactly. One of these days, one of these days.
And so today, like per month, how many surfboards you shape yourself?
As of now, I think I've been doing probably like 2 to 4 boards a week, which is good. It keeps me busy.
Well, it's okay, for being like I mean for 16 boards a month. It's a lot of time that you put in, right?
Yeah, it definitely is. People's here like 2 boards a month, or I'm sorry, 2 boards a week, and they're like, "Damn, that's it. That's all you work." But then when you hand shape them, it's you got to be like in the mood. Like I feel like my best work is when I'm fresh. If I work for too long if I could do 4 boards in a day, hand shaped. But I still want to be like fresh and have like a creative eye because I feel like those lights in the room will over time it'll kind of wear on you and you start missing things. So I like to stay fresh to like not work too many hours in a day to have a fresh set of eyes and to like I don't know, be fresh when I shape rather than just work myself to death. And
Of course, it's not just a business. Like if you had to do like a factory kind of, you
yeah,
the craftsmanship part of it, and which makes your board and your work more valuable and more recognized by people, right? If you were
exactly.
making like 100 boards a month or 1,000 boards a month, whatnot, maybe things were kind of different in terms of appreciation, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then over the last couple years, I've learned like I used to just rush through boards just to get done, just to get paid. But now I've like tried to learn to slow down a little bit and like really get a key attention, like pay attention to detail as closely as you can because you'll always find something wrong with boards, no matter what it is. So as of recently, over the last like I don't know, over the last few years, I've learned slow down, enjoy the process, and like take pride in your work. It's not just a paycheck. Like you're really like making something for someone to have a good time on.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Would you define yourself like a perfectionist?
I'd like to think so. I would really like to think that I'm a perfectionist when it comes to shaping.
Okay,
But
it's a good thing.
when I look at a board now, I'll always see something, and it's just like and I feel like the farther you go down, it's like pretty soon you're not gonna have any foam to shape.
Yes, like little by little, you're going to the tiniest level of surfboard. But then,
Yeah, yeah.
Very, very light. I started this interview asking you what is the most important thing in surfing. In your opinion, what is the most important thing in shaping?
Oof. The most important thing in shaping would be to have a happy customer, I think. Like, it sounds weird, but like the enjoyment that I get from shaping is knowing when the person rides the board that they're going to have a good time. If they rode my boards and they had the worst time and they hated surfing afterwards,
Yeah,
I probably shouldn't be making boards.
I guess so. I agree with you. So far you had good feedback
So
from.
far, yeah. I think the best thing in the world is like getting that text message or like the response or like, hey, that board is so good. But then you'll occasionally get those ones. You're like, oh yeah, I didn't like that one as much as I thought it was gonna be. And I was like, okay, like let's revise what that is. I'll just whatever, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because you want the board that carry your name to be perfect, right? For every surfer, and which is a very difficult challenge because
Yeah.
everyone, no?
Yeah. Ultimately, like I just want them to be stoked. That's my end goal with shaping.
And what is the best advice that you have been given?
from
And of shaping, of course.
from shaping or
Shaping or surfing, but let's keep it into the topic, right? Not in life.
yeah. Man, that's a good question. I think I think the somebody was like, dude, don't wear yourself out, just like keep it fun. And that was it's so little and so easy to do that like we could overlook it pretty easily and get stuck in like that rut of like making it work. But shaping is supposed to be fun. Like you're making toys. Like we can't run around with these huge egos. And he just basically told me to keep it fun, and I've been doing that ever since.
And do you have like favorite like kind of surfboards to shape? Like you prefer to do midlands, shortboard, longboard, or for you like everything is kind of the same?
Oh no, that's I fully have a preference on what I my favorite thing to shape. I love shaping like traditional fishes.
Okay.
There's a time and place for everything, but I like I like making fish shaped boards because there's a huge attention to detail, and like for them to work at its best ability, you have to really know like where your concave starts. Like cutting a fishtail is like an art in itself, you know, getting the stringer after you cut a fishtail and trying to get that even is one of my favorite things to do. You only do it once per board, so hopefully once per board. But yeah, my favorite things to shape are fishes, and then longboards always have their time and place. If I just want to do busy work and hold a planer for like an hour, longboards would be a close second to what my favorites would be to shape.
I see you like to challenge yourself.
Yeah, if you're not challenging yourself, there's no point.
I tell it, tell it. Are you working on something particular these days? What's next? There is a specific project you're proud of, or you're working on, or is business as usual?
Right now, I'm sort of in like a relax like a I don't know. I'm gaining my steps again because over the last like year, I was working on like I did a video for like the surfboard release. So we did a couple trips to like Hawaii. We did couple trips to Mexico, and my main focus was to like get that video out. So when I had the time of the release of the surfboards, I had something to show for it. It wasn't just some like, oh, like hurrah, hottie da, I make surfboards on my own label. Like I wanted a video that showcased basically every model that I make. So I've been working on that. I worked on that. That just came out last month, I think. But now I'm just starting to get in the transition. Like, okay, like my next project will probably be coming up really soon. Start working on the next Vans video, combine that with some of the shaping footage, and we're on to the next.
Okay, okay. So you're like step by step getting your brand out there, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Well, it's a fantastic project. Very exciting.
It's a never-ending project. Oh my God.
Definitely. It's a never-ending project, and you just started. So, we can talk about maybe 20 years from now, and I guess it will be still never-ending, right? That's the beauty.
Exactly.
That's the beauty. Cool. We're gonna finish this interview with a short Q&A session. I ask this question to everyone on the show. Please answer the first thing that comes up to your mind. Okay?
Okay, I think I'm ready.
The best surfboard that you ever rode?
That's mine or not mine? Sorry for the counter question.
Both.
Okay. The best surfboard that I didn't shape was a board I bought from Cyrus Sutton, and it was a 5'9" Ryan Birch asymmetrical.
Oh.
And it was the first asymmetrical. I was kind of against them. I was like, I don't know, like they kind of look weird, like whatever. But that board was insane. It was like one of the ones with like one fin on one side on your toe side, and then two fin, like a quad set on your heel. And yeah, that board kind of changed the view as I looked on asymmetrical surfboards. But then I think my favorite board that I've ever made was, man, there's a lot of those. I made this pink longboard a long time ago that kind of was well traveled, and that was my favorite board. It was with me in Mexico, Dominican Republic, and then I gifted it to a friend that lives down in Saladita, and that board lives on. It's living its best life, retiring down south below the border.
Fantastic. I don't want to get you in trouble, but favorite shaper of all time?
Oh man, Tanner Prairie, Tanner Surfboards.
Okay.
Yeah, still my favorite.
Personal question: your favorite song or kind of music?
Oof. Dude, that's a wild card. Let me see. What's the last thing that I listened to on my phone? That's probably the easiest thing.
Yeah, but you have to be honest and tell me that. Yeah.
Okay. I get weird about my music because I'll like find a song and I'll like it, and that'll be the only song that I listen to for like a month.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm weird. But I've been really happy with Rocky Raccoon by Charlie Parr.
Oh wow. Yeah, I can certify. Okay. Your favorite surf spot, if it's not a secret?
Newport Point.
Favorite surfer of all time?
Damn, that's a hard one. There's too many favorites.
Yeah, it's a favorite question.
Okay, Joey Bookout.
The last question is a little bit unusual. I'd like to know your best relationship advice, where by relationship you can answer me relationship with the ocean, friends, romantic, relationship with a surfboard, if that makes sense. I don't know.
Best advice: be true to yourself and just trust the process. Whatever's gonna happen will happen, and you just gotta look at the other side. If it's bad, look at the other side. If it's good, just keep on doing it.
Totally agree with you. Thank you so much for taking the time for being with me today, and I look forward to talk to you very soon.
Sounds good. Hopefully I'll visit you in Biarritz.
Yeah, of course. Ciao. Aloha. Hi, it's me again. I hope you enjoyed our today's episode. If you want to know more about us, please follow www.thetempleofsurf.com and all our social media. Mahalo!